ever eaten moldy chocolate?
The tardigrade?
I'm Jasmin.
Swear on Satan, I'll do that. That's my headcanon.
Okay, into it, all of it.
I'm Mells.
I love it. Dumb.
Wait a minute. And if you're watching TV,
I love it. Make sure it's damn fine TV.
This is amazing. That was awesome. Oh my god. Okay.
Wondering if you've tried blowing on the cassette? I'm Jay.
And I'm Mells, and Jeff can appease my goblin community anytime.
Welcome to Damn Fine TV's Yellowjackets rewatch.
This week we're covering Season 1, Episode 5. Now, shall we seance?
Oh, I would love to. I would absolutely love to seance with you. I don't know. Are you the kind of person that would never do a seance? Because I know there are those people out there. And I know you don't fuck with ghosts and stuff, so.
I don't fuck with them, but I was always so curious.
So curious, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I have so many different types of Ouija boards because I'm kind of obsessed with it, but also I don't have the real balls to sit there and probably do it properly. I just like to look at the board and be like, ooh, we'll get into it in the episode, but I was asking really, sometimes I ask stupid questions like, ooh, does the boy like me back or whatever?
I have to know. Does the boy I like feel the same way about me? I was like, oh, Misty, you fool.
You fool.
I'm very excited about this episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. Spoiler alert. But before we dive in, I just wanted to say this will be super common knowledge at this point, but we do know the release date for season 2, March 26th. So we have, I think at this point when this episode comes out, we will be on a every other week schedule. But despite that, we have sorted out how to get all the season 1 coverage out to all of you in time for weekly reviews of season 2. So stay tuned.
I can't wait.
I know. I'm very excited. It's still far away now as we record this, but by the time it comes out, we'll be that much closer. So it's exciting.
So exciting.
Yes. Okay. But until then, let's just do episode 5 and hit us with a summary, Mells. Or should I say poodle-haired freak?
I mean, honestly, it's never hit so hard in my life. I was like, that was me once upon a time before I discovered an actual iron.
Iron.
Yep. I discovered straight an iron. Okay, so episode 5, Blood Hive, which rhymes. Okay. In present day, Ty accuses Sammy of defacing their home, though he denies it and says it's the lady in the tree. Pressured by these events, Ty decides to drop from the Senate race, then changes her mind. Shauna and Callie go head-to-head after a telling Halloween party, and Nat studies Travis's file. Back in 96, the gals perform a seance when things go from giggles to shits as Lottie becomes possessed. Overcome by the powerful vertical stick, Misty poisons Ben.
Oh, you.
Oh, listen.
Ooh, that vertical stick.
I had kind of... I'm not gonna lie, I'd kind of forgotten a little bit about how powerful that thing was. And when I saw it, I was like, is that his elbow?
Listen,
no, it's not.
I had to go to the person in my household that does have a penis, and I had to ask, is this even possible? Is it possible to pop a tent like this? Because it feels like movie magic. And he said, no. I mean, I have it on good authority that it is quite possible, especially if you're wearing some loose sweatpants, let's say, or nothing at all, and just a top sheet. Popping that tent is possible.
Not the gray sweatpants. I mean, it's
the Kevin Garvey. Yes.
Just so everyone is aware, Kevin Garvey created gray sweatpants. I see the memes going around now because you see folks on TikTok in their gray sweatpants, and I'm like, whoa.
No.
Nobody does this like Kevin Garvey. Just so you all know.
Let's give the props where they're due because it's all Justin Theroux, okay?
Yeah.
All right, well, I loved this episode. I thought it was so much fun. It was a definite improvement over episode 4. It just felt more exciting and dynamic to me. I felt like there was a lot that was going on. There was really funny moments, Jeff suggesting that he should go to book club with Shauna, which was essentially him inviting himself into a threesome.
Yes.
Or like Misty scaring those trick-or-treaters at the hospital, or not the hospital, but the nursing home, you know what I mean?
Fantastic.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
There was these lighter moments that were just really nicely intertwined with some spookier stuff, like Jackie finding Lottie in the water, the seance itself, even Shauna seeing who she thinks is Jackie at the club, right?
Yes.
And I think the opening scene did such a good job of setting up the tone for the episode. Like that really fun dance, that sweet and wholesome dance. And it's kind of funny in the moment, like, the Bart Simpson, like all of that was so sweet and cute. And then the way it's interrupted by that creepy sound that a tape player will make as it's dying, and then the sounds upstairs. I just thought that set the tone so beautifully for the episode.
Absolutely. I agree with everything that you have said. I mean, the highlights that you just put out there were like my favorites of the episode as well, especially Misty. And I had to pause because I was like side splitting laughing because I was like, how nonchalant she just cuts off this lady's like power to her monitors.
Just a slip of the Crocs, you know?
And then she just puts it back on and she was like, trick it is, I guess. And I was like, you know what, Misty Quigley? I fucking love you, okay?
She is wild.
But a great improvement, not that episode 4 was bad in any way, shape, or form, but a great improvement. Lots of stuff happening in the past, which I know I'm really tuned into this time around. So yeah, I mean, it's one of my favorite episodes so far.
Yes, same here. And I think I'm back on the supernatural bus, or I'm at least riding it for like a couple of stops until I figure it out, because all the talk of like our periods are syncing up and the blood hive, or like this hive mind idea and the seance itself, I don't know, something about all of this really got me back on the magical track. I think especially the period syncing thing, because that's just such a terrible myth. I love the myth. I think it's so funny, but I don't know, the idea that they could get synced up this quickly or at all, like
Right.
What's going on,
I don't think it would be this quickly. I know that menstrual cycles are different for everyone, but I mean, it is a standard like window of like when you have your menstrual. I don't know, like. Yes, it's fun to be like, we're such best friends and we're all on our period together, but I'm like, well, logistically, it's just bound to happen at some point because you only have a window that you're going to get the rag.
I mean, let's say I have a 3-week cycle and you have a 5-week cycle. At some point, those are going to overlap in some way. And the more time you spend with a group of women, the more you're talking about it. So the more it feels like you're all going through the same thing at once. But I was like, let's suspend disbelief here for a moment and think like, is this actually happening to these girls in night?
Right.
Like, is there something about the woods? And, Travis and Nat talking all about like the blood that's attracting the prey, or the predator, I should say. And just all of these references to things like that. I was like, it's possible. Maybe they are synced up, but it's for supernatural reasons.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, first on our list here to chat about this week is Jackie. Are you good with starting there?
Yes. Yeah.
When this girl woke up and she said, "I'm so cold," I just about died laughing, because what foreshadowing.
Well, also, I think it was like episode 2, maybe, it was when they found the cabin and she was like, I'm not sleeping in there. Shauna was like, at least take these blankets. So this is like 2 times where I'm like, oh boy, the foreshadow. I mean, obviously you don't know if you haven't watched it yet, but I mean, like, yes, I'm picking up on those things. And like Lottie also in one of the episodes being in like a furish looking coat and stuff. I was like, man, it was like, here kind of like not all along, but I mean it was like there. But yeah, when she said I'm so cold, and then also when she was like I've got cramps, and Natalie was like, we all do, okay, as in like get the fuck up and do something, okay?
Right. Yeah, I know. And so here's the thing. when I'm first watching the episode, my immediate reaction is like, I do feel for her. Having
Sure.
cramps sucks. This is not a situation that anybody wants to be in. And you walk outside, and it is as though she has gone to fucking Pioneer Village for a school trip, because
Yes.
all of these girls are doing all of these tasks and chores. And I mean, I think, for the audience, we're meant to assume that some sort of conversation has happened where they're like, hey, we need to make sure we have this happening. And oh my God, our periods are here. What are we going to do for that? So, like, obviously, there's been a discussion about who's going to fulfill what role and like all the chores that need to get done. And Jackie's just not doing her part. So once you like realize that, I think or at least for me, I was like, yeah, sweetie, like you need to chip in, because listen, I would also be in her situation of like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Same.
But you would not catch me sleeping in before being like, hey, how can I help out? All right, can I take a 5 to fucking nurse these cramps?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, everything you said is accurate. Like, yeah, the menstrual cycle, like all of that fucking sucks. Like, it's terrible. I hate it. I empathize. I also wouldn't know what to do. I also had to I will tell you, I struggled just a little bit because I know that they made mention that it had been a few weeks at this point, right? So some time has
Okay,
passed.
when did they say that? Did I totally miss that?
Now, like in some I think maybe Shauna said it to Jackie where she was like, people are starting to notice, or like something about like we've been out here for weeks. I
Okay, okay,
heard that, and
okay.
I took a mental note of it because I thought to myself, well, obviously, like they haven't just been out here for like 4 days, and all of a sudden they know how to do every single thing under the sun. So
Right.
in that case, if it has been a few weeks and Jackie's like sleeping in and like acting like, mom's gonna bring an egg sandwich up to her soon, I would be pissed at her too. I'd be like, you need to get the fuck up and you need to do something, ma'am. Okay. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Like,
If
I don't
after
want to
that
boil period
long,
blood by myself. Okay.
yeah, come and boil it with me, babe. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's clear that they've had a conversation about what needs to be done. And I do think it's Jackie's upbringing. Like you just said, mom was going to bring her lunch. Like she's never had to worry about these things. I don't know that these other girls have either, but just from episode 1, from the look of Jackie's house, we know she's pretty privileged.
Right.
So she, and we've said it before, she's fairly self-obsessed. So she's not seeing outside of herself in this situation. And I thought at first when Shauna took her aside and had this like pep talk with her, I was like, Jackie, you are so lucky to have a friend like Shauna. And then they hug and Shauna's like facade kind of melts away. And I was like, oh, right. You fuck Jeff. Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh.
forgot about that. Ooh.
So many layers. So many layers.
So layered. Yeah.
I mean, it still was kind of Shauna to be like, I need to reel my friend in and tell her what's what.
Yeah, man, Shauna, I mean, obviously, as you learn further on that, like, she doesn't get her period, and it's obvious, at least obvious by the end that, she doesn't admit that she's most likely pregnant to Ty.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's going through her mind as well because we know that Jeff is the person that she's sleeping with.
Mhm.
So I get the drop of the face, but also I feel like, all right, I wanted to say this because I feel like I've had friendships like this in the past where there's just naturally a more dominant person in the relationship, right? A more dominant friend. And I don't want to say that Shauna, I don't think that she follows Jackie. I just think that Jackie is more dominant than Shauna. Now Shauna has her secrets and Shauna does a lot of mischief, but in that dynamic, like I could see where if you got stranded, where you would get pretty tired of that person's bullshit, especially if in the back of your mind for like several years you've been like, Jackie,
Yeah.
Jackie. You know what I mean? Or like it's always like about Jackie, like because they're the more assertive like person
Sure.
in the relationship or whatever. It really had me thinking about that though, because I was like, well, not
Okay,
only
interesting.
yeah, so not only is she obviously harboring a big secret from Jackie about, well, Jeff, and now she's pregnant, but also, maybe she's just legit tired of her bullshit. And if that's the case, then Jackie really needs to be like feel very grateful that Shauna still wants to try to save her ass, because she could be like, have at her, girls.
Feed
You
her
know
to
what I
the
mean?
wolves. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not a wolf. Anyway,
It is now.
it's canon. Damn fine
That's
canon.
damn fine canon. I like that reading too. And because there is so much going on in the actor's face in that moment. And I'm sure it does run so much deeper than even what we're saying right now. So, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
What was I going to say? Something about Shauna. Oh, well. And I do think it helps Jackie, whatever Shauna has said, because I think her suggestion of the seance is genuinely Jackie trying to, even though it's not as helpful as like boiling the fucking period blood or like cooking food or getting water. But she has been built up to be this person that's supposed to bring the team together and like, I don't know, foster that camaraderie. And I think the suggestion of the seance is her way of being like, let's ease the tension about the attic and let's get some laughter going or whatever. And so, I mean, it's maybe not the best suggestion, but it's a suggestion. And I think she's trying.
I think it's the best that she can do, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Because, like, and I'm also thinking, like, a person like Jackie, I mean, there's just not a lot of survival skill because she's privileged and she's probably, like, pampered a lot. So, I mean, knowing all of that, like, she also just inherently does not know what to fucking do. Like, somebody
No.
has to tell her. And I can also empathize with that, because now, don't get me wrong, I would be volunteering myself and I'd be like, where can I help? But I would also need someone to tell me what to do. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I would need someone to be like, okay, well, you go over there and chop the wood. And I would be like, well, I don't have the upper body strength.
That might not be my best use, but like we can try.
I'll give it a go. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, I'm just like losing thoughts left and right here tonight. Oh my goodness.
That's
They're
okay.
blowing out the window with
They're just
Lottie's
blowing straight out of the
possession
way.
thing. They're just blowing me straight out the way. Yeah. All right. Well, whatever. Do you want to talk about the seance then?
Yes, please.
Yes. This sequence was so good. And now I remember. So it must have been, or it should have been telling that first time through as well, that this episode kind of feels like it's a Jackie episode in a way. And like similar to how like episode 1 was kind of a Shauna episode. Last week, episode 4 was kind of a Nat episode. And this one is a lot more centered around Jackie, but with nothing in the future, no flashbacks to her either. So in that way, I'm like, oh yeah, they were also kind of trying to tell us like there's not much else for Jackie except this.
I know. I mean, like, I know I shit on Jackie, but also that's kind of sad, because I was like, man, I thought
Her
we were
ultimate
really
fate
just
is
building
very
mystery.
sad. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, oh
So.
God, terrible. But it is fun to do a rewatch like this, because with a show like this, because obviously, like, I'm like, oh, I get it now. But like in the moment, I can recall being like, okay, the big reveal, like she's gonna show up at the reunion or she's gonna show up somewhere, right?
Yes.
And it obviously does not happen like that. So
Nope. Okay, let's get into this seance. So I don't even know where to start really.
I'll start you off.
Yeah.
I legit almost shit my pants. Like,
At what part? The Lottie part?
Yeah, like there was so much tension, and I can remember it being like this the first time around, but it still packed the same punch, even though I knew what was coming. The way that they build the suspense and everything in the show, the music, the score, the movements of it's just so amazing. Like, I just fucking love this show so much. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, like my heart is just racing. I'm sweating under my arms. My stomach starts to rumble. And I'm like, don't do this. You know what's going to happen.
I hope you didn't projectile like Ben.
I didn't, but I was like, I'm going to shit my pants. And I'm not afraid to admit it, okay?
Just bear down, baby. Just bear down.
I was like, Ben would have been wanted to be in my shoes in this moment. He should have went upstairs, and then maybe that could have loosened the bowels up a little bit,
Whew.
because I
This
was like,
poor man. We've had to see him shit. We didn't see the shit, but
I
yeah.
know. But I'm telling you right now, though, like, okay, so in the beginning when I said, like, I don't fuck with ghosts, like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this very cute little, like, seance-y part in the beginning, I would have been like, oh my God, this is great. So, like, I don't know, am I gonna marry Jonathan Taylor Thomas? Tell me, Ouija board, or tell me, spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as that shit started happening with Lottie, you wouldn't have called my ass up there. I would have been back down, and I would have been like, I don't care if he's wounded or what. I would have been like, Ben, I need you to protect me. Like, I would have used him as a shield.
let me hide behind your good leg.
I am so sorry, Lieutenant Dan, but I have got to get behind you, okay? Lieutenant Ben.
Lieutenant Ben. Yeah, that moment built to such a great, like, climax release point. I don't even know really what to call it, because
Big
it
O.
does feel like it builds until Laura Lee throws the Bible at her and Ben, like, spews that vomit.
It's
It
so
just
Exorcist-like.
it is so Exorcist-like. I feel like that has to be a reference.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it's too perfect. But this was one of the moments that made me also feel like I really do feel like there is something supernatural happening again, because Lottie, okay, I feel like she sees something out of the window before it blows open, right? But even like, it's too coincidental. It's too coincidental that Lottie would turn around, be so transfixed with something outside of the window, and then it would burst open dramatically like that. I mean, if it turns out to be a coincidence, that feels, I don't know, that just feels cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. We talked about this last week. Like, I'm really on the supernatural train this time around.
Mhm.
And I think that's why maybe it impacted me a lot more this time, because I am looking through a supernatural lens. But
Right.
I was like, there's the things with Lottie, they're just adding up more on the supernatural side for me this time. So, like, beginning with, obviously they hear, like, when they're Montel Jordan, when they're in their dance, right? And the tape dies, or the Walkman dies, or whatever. But, like, everybody hears the initial, like, bumping up there, but like, Lottie still hears more, right?
Mhm.
Like, Lottie's already tuned in or tapped into whatever's going on in the attic. We know that. Then you have the moment where she's, like, in the water, but, like, what, like, there's something, and then, like, that window in the attic overlooks the water as well. So, like, all of this with Lottie, and I've got chilly bumps right now. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm just saying, like, I want her to be off her meds so she can be tapped more into that supernatural,
Fair.
because you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because
Yes.
I would love that way more. Like we said last week, than if it, comes down to this was just, I don't know. I guess I
I
shouldn't
think it can be
say.
both, right? Like, I think
Sure,
that some of
yeah.
this stuff can be trauma based, and some of it can be,
Right.
we got lost in the woods and some fucked up shit happened, but it could also be that there is something else out there with them.
Right. That's what I
Those
would thank
fucking
you.
symbols were there first.
Yeah.
They did not create those symbols. So that is something. And I
Right.
don't know, for me, like, the fact that Ty and Javi come upstairs midway through the seance, they, to me, break the circle, especially Javi. And he does not, like, anoint himself with the blood and the dirt. And then he asks the question that seemingly pisses off the spirit.
Mhm.
So I don't know. To me, that is just like a big flashing light that is like something supernatural is happening. It's too many coincidences if it's not.
Right.
And like, I think there's definitely something to the fact, like, not that they knew that they were doing, like, the girls, I mean, not that they knew that they were doing this, but there is something super symbolic about Shauna being the only one, the only woman, the only person that can menstruate there who's not on her period, acting as the quote unquote vessel for
Yes.
whatever is coming through. There's something interesting there. And this time around, I don't know, you'll tell me if I'm crazy, but I think we are meant to link the seance with Travis's death.
Oh, 100%.
I think like the knife being used as like a pendulum of sorts. I think the knife is Travis. Unfortunately, he was the pendulum in the seance that happened in present day. I mean, Misty sees all this wax somehow. I mean, talk about an eagle eye, but the fact that we see Jackie and Shauna setting up the candles over the symbols and that the wax marks would form the symbol, which was a little like math lady meme for me. I was like, I don't know how she's seeing this, but I'm here for it.
I mean, same. I was like, I need to get on the citizen detective train because here's the
For
thing.
real.
I call myself an amateur sleuth, but I don't have shit on Misty Quigley. And I knew that she was gonna put those pictures together in present day, and I knew, but and so I really tried to sit there and be like, okay, wax mark, and I was like, how do you get this symbol out of this? Like, I even paused at certain parts and was like, and I was like, no, that it's just Misty. It's just Misty.
I mean, the citizen detective training program is definitely, I mean, it's a high bar.
Thorough.
It's very prestigious. Yeah.
Very prestigious. Very.
Yeah, so I think there's something there. And I wonder if whatever happened this first time they did the seance, let's say Lottie is Antler Queen and is leading some sort of cult thing in present day. Whatever happened in this first seance, she wants to continue to recreate.
Right.
Like that is the base ritual or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Poor
Oh,
Travis being used as a
he's a
Goldarm
sacrifice.
pendulum.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, I'm with you 100%. I'm with you on that.
Sweet. I was like, I feel like this is like I felt bad comparing Travis to the knife, but I was like, but I feel like there's something there.
I mean, it's very coincidental.
Exactly. And I don't think I ever pieced together the wax markings that Misty finds to this seance before, but it was like so glaringly obvious on second watch for me. So.
Same. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because otherwise, why? I don't know. There might be something. It could just be that the symbol was there, and whoever did this thing was hoping that they would find the symbol as like a, like a little leave behind message. But it feels deeper than that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, yeah. All right. Well, anything else about the seance?
No, I did write a note in here. There was someone sitting behind Jackie. And I'm like, who are you? Like, I know that, what did we say, 16 girls or so, right? That were, because only one.
I don't know.
Because Rachel's the only one to have perished in the actual plane accident. Okay, so there's someone sitting behind Jackie, and the whole time I'm like, is this a fucking ghost? Like, no one acknowledges this person.
And it's not Ty later on.
It is not. It is somebody blonde-headed. Because at first I was like, I'm fairly certain.
Blonde-headed.
Well, when they first showed like the beginnings of the seance, I was like, wait a minute. Laura Lee is not. She never was part of it because I thought it was Laura Lee, and then I was like, no, I'm right about that. But like, this person would just randomly be like behind Jackie out of focus. And I was like, girl, why are you in the circle?
That's so
then
spooky.
You can see this person, like when Ty comes up and like Ty's sitting kind of like a little more behind where this person is. But I just was like, you're not even in the circle. Like, who are you? What are you doing?
That's really weird. Okay, I have to go back and see that. Yeah.
Because I've got in all capitals here, who is behind Jackie? And like I said, I know we've got a lot of red shirts. I know we've got a lot of, but I mean, even in that small circle, I'm like, well, where are the rest of them? Because we're only seeing the main folks in the circle.
They play fast and loose with the number of girls, right? Yeah.
They really do.
I'm glad you brought up the one girl that we lost though in the plane crash, because I had meant to bring this up when we talked about Jackie. I was wondering this time around, is Jackie part of what they're trying to cover up? Like, I wonder if they lie and say that Jackie was one of the people that died in the crash, as opposed to, what actually happens to her. but
potentially, yeah.
like, is that
But, I
part
mean, it
of
was
what
such an
they're so
accident.
nervous? I know, but is that part of what but the more you dig, the more you find out there was an argument and it led to this and like, you know what I
Right.
mean? So maybe that's part of what they're trying to cover up. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't wait to see what season 2 is gonna answer
I
because,
know.
oh
I'm
gosh.
so excited that we get to be like week to week on that and like just
Same.
spewing wild theories every week and just
Absolutely.
having fun in that way. I'm so looking forward to it.
Me too.
Which, one of those wild theories was Pit Girl. And at this point, I kind of hope Callie somehow is Pit Girl because this bitch is pissing me off.
Mhm.
Like Shauna was 1000% correct when she was like, our child is an asshole. Like, could not
True
have
words
said
were
it
never
better.
spoken.
Yes.
Yeah.
This kid is driving me nuts. When she tries to lay down the deal with her mother the next morning and then Shauna just turns it back around on her. Oh, that was just all of the vindication that I wanted for Shauna. Like, do you
Same.
know what
And
mutually assured destruction is? I'm like, I kind of invented it. And I was like, you
actually, no, you
stupid
didn't.
bitch.
Yes. Okay, and I had to in that moment, I was like, this is very clear that Jeff is her father.
Oh, oh. I mean, because he
It was
comes
never
in
clear
later
till this
and
moment.
like his response to me, I was like, you are more lost than the Yellowjackets ever were, my friend.
100%. He was like,
Like,
right. Well, Cal's, I'm very disappointed. Like, you could tell he was just putting on the dad routine, but there, like,
oh,
the elevator did not reach the top during any of that conversation.
no. No. There was the hamster had stopped spinning on the wheel
It
at
was
that
dead.
point. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it had starved to death. It had no nourishment.
Ugh. Ugh. I'm so irritated with this teenager. I know we've said this before, or I've said this before when we've covered probably like Midnight Club or something. I think I struggle the most with teenagers that remind me of how shitty I was when I was a teenager. And I'm just like, God, how was I that stupid and know-it-all and bitchy and like whatever. But the further I progress into my 30s, the more I'm like, can you be nice to your mother, please?
I
Like,
know. I know.
ugh.
Man.
So I don't know. Do you think she knew that was Jackie's uniform?
I don't know. Like, okay, so in the moment, I felt like it was fairly genuine when she was like, "Oh shit." Like, it makes me wonder, like, obviously, and we'll know more about like what Jeff knows and what Jeff doesn't know, obviously, like as the season progresses.
Yeah.
But there was obviously some written, like spoken thing when they got out of the woods, whenever that was, where they were like, no matter what, this is what the story we're sticking to. And so maybe Shauna really, I mean, maybe to Callie, Jackie is just a casualty of, what happened with her mother, you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
X amount of years ago. And she didn't realize that that could be Jackie's uniform because Shauna never said, and I kept her uniform or whatever, because she doesn't want, because even Callie says we don't ever talk about Jackie. And I wanted to be like, well, but you, like, I don't know. That
Why
would be
would
like,
you? Why would you
how
talk about that woman with your daughter? Like,
especially especially when it was the daughter's dad was her boyfriend at the time.
it's
So
yeah,
convoluted.
it's too much. And part of me wants to believe that yeah, Callie is being genuine in that moment because I think she's too high to not be. Like
Right.
she's immediately honest with her mom that she's on
Molly.
Molly E, whatever you want to call it. So I kind of do believe her, but there's part of me that's like, you knew. You fucking somewhere deep down you knew or you hoped or something. Like,
Or I think it was just shitty nonetheless that she did what
yes.
she did. Like there was a vindication, or I mean there was a baseline of childish rude behavior in that, because knowing what her mom did go through, she may not know the whole story obviously, but I mean that's traumatic, and you don't need to mess with your mom's or Jackie's, whoever's like soccer uniform. Like you just need to leave it alone. And so yeah, there's a baseline of like
Yeah.
disrespect in that anyway. I just don't know if she actually knew or realized that it might not be Shauna's. And I also wrote in my notes that she needs to go to Euphoria High because
Yeah, it's so true.
I obviously binged like Euphoria after I watched Yellowjackets, and I was like, wow, Callie needs to transfer.
I love that you're calling it Euphoria High. I love this.
I thought that was the name of the high school.
It's like Sweet Valley High, but
Yeah.
for a modern age. I love it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, this whole thing was such a mess, but I thought Shauna handled it pretty much perfectly.
Listen, speaking of like being the smarter and more dominant one in the relationship, I was like, Shauna, you have the leg up on the two people that you share your home with, okay?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the way that she fucking handled Callie, I was like, yeah, this is what I want. I love that she was like, keep going, tell me more.
I know. Yeah.
Right? I loved everything. Gosh, yeah, adult Shauna is very relatable.
Even when she calls Jeff in and like Callie is admitting to sneaking into the city and whatever, and Shauna's just like, I know, so
that's what I'm
disappointing.
saying. Like she's, I mean, Melanie Linsky she's so perfect. I
She's
love
so
her.
great.
But it's just, that look over to Jeff where she was like, I told you, your daughter is a menace.
Yes, yeah.
But I loved that challenging look on her face too. Like she never broke eye contact with Callie while she was calling Jeff in there. Callie has something to tell you.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if my mother did that, I would be very intimidated, to be honest, right? Because
shaking in my boots.
Yeah, you would expect them to crumble. Like in your teenage arrogance, you think I've got them and they're gonna crumble.
Yes. Yeah.
But when they one up you, you're like, oh shit, I all of a sudden realize that like I just said, I am a teenager.
Sweetie, drink your Pedialyte and get some rest, okay?
For your tum-tum. Thought your tummy might be upset. Yeah.
Yes. Shauna was spectacular in that moment. And listeners, viewers, you could also be spectacular. And do you want to know how you could be spectacular? It's so simple. All you have to do is go to your favorite podcast platform, your podcast platform of choice, the one that you're using now to hear our voices, to see our faces, and just go to that rate and review button and be like, let me dingle, dangle, sprinkle, sprangle 5 stars. I'm going to do 5 stars. That's all you have to do. It's so easy.
Full Monty. Just do the full Monty.
Please.
Yes.
But if you could rate and review us, that would be so lovely. I would say a holiday gift, but this is going to air after the holidays. We're recording before the holidays. You could do like a retroactive holiday gift for us, a New Year gift. Yeah. A happy almost February gift.
There you go. Yes.
We would be so appreciative.
We would. And then once you're done with that, come hang out with us on socials, okay?
Yeah.
The pod is on Instagram at DamnFineTV. You can find me at Superficial Mells. And
you can find me at DamnFineWitch. And you can find both of us hanging out over at patreon.com/DamnFineTV. You know the drill. Lots of fun stuff happening over there. Bonus videos, Discord server, stickers, etc. So check it out. And now, back to your regularly scheduled program.
Ahoy! We're back.
Apparently, we were on a ship for a little bit there.
Well, you know what? I still, when Misty drew that hook, I was like, it's a fucking pirate. Get this out of your head that it is a pirate. And especially when I think of, Jacques. I don't know. I'm like, was he a pirate? Please get this out of my head. I don't want to sit here for this
Jacques sailed the 7 seas. He landed at his cabin.
Things didn't go well.
I really do want to break down the symbol at some point and figure out what all of the different pieces are.
Yeah.
Because the hooky thing at the bottom, it does actually look like the symbol for an asteroid that would be used in astrology, but I haven't been able to it kind of represents a goddess of the land and agriculture in some sense, but I don't really know. I don't know how that fits in quite yet, but it would be fun to break down the symbol.
I love that though. Yes.
Could be fun.
Yes.
For now, I want to chat about Ty.
Yeah. Let's talk Ty.
Let's talk Ty. So they continue to walk the line with her so well.
Yeah.
So well. Because there's part of me that sees her total adversity to the seance and even to Lottie saying things like, I have a bad feeling about this place. And she's like, I don't believe in bad feelings, or like, I don't buy into that, or whatever. And I'm like, is this the show's way of telling us she doesn't believe this stuff, similar to like Travis never believed in this stuff? Or is this just the beginning of a character arc to show us how far she's come?
When did she start believing in it? Yeah.
Right. That's what I mean. So they're still walking that line really well. But present day Ty, I'm feeling really scared for, because I don't know what she was prepared to do with that wolf, but apparently kill it with a fucking letter opener, I guess. Like, and then like the man with no eyes appearing to her at some point that's a red flag of sorts. I just don't really know what it's warning us of or Ty of at this point.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I gotta quit thinking that the man with no eyes is Javi, because it's not. It's not. It can't be.
It's not, but that's so funny. I like
but
that.
But it looked like, especially after like the seance, and you see like Javi and his floppy hair and everything, and I was like, man, like, what happened to your eyes, my friend? But I'm like,
poor
no,
Javi. Poor Javi, no eyes.
No, but I'm like, no, that can't be accurate, because the man with no eyes was seen in the past. So obviously it's something within Ty, but it would be wild as fuck though if like we found out that like Javi's eyes had to be sacrificed for something and it was him. I would hate it. I would be honest, I would like it, but
I mean, like, there's the bent neck lady of it all, which there is no of it all because it's a different show, but just meaning like time collapsing in on itself, essentially. But
true, yeah. Or your
you never
past
know.
coming back for this, it'll be like, your past coming back or whatever. But yeah, Ty is a loose cannon to me, and I feel she's more put together in the past plot than in the future from what I've seen so far. I mean, I think that's going to change for me. I need to, obviously will continue watching it, but I'm trying to view her differently. And I'm just noticing that, like you said, like at some point did she begin to believe, and that kind of changed like her projection as an adult as well in some way. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts swimming around about that. So,
what did you think of her? Okay, no, let me back up and ask this first. And maybe we find this out and I just don't remember, but do you think she wrote "spill" on her door?
We
like,
don't
as
know
Lady
yet
in the Tree, maybe?
Yeah, we don't know yet that she loses time, but I'm very interested to learn more about that, hopefully like in season 2. But whatever is happening, yes, I mean, it's obviously outside of Sammy's window as well, so it wouldn't feel too far-fetched that after she wrote it on her own wall that she just slid the paint can under Sammy's bed. I mean,
well, and
I
if
don't
Sammy's
think
been seeing this Lady in the Tree out of his window, yeah.
Unless we were going to get blown straight out of the way by Sammy at some point, but
Sammy, the sandwich.
Ooh, the sandwich.
I feel like that was a funny little joke about cannibalism.
Yeah. Just a little light joke about,
just like a slight nudge towards the cannibalism. And what did you think of her sort of like last minute pivot when she was giving that press conference?
I mean, it wouldn't. Okay, so Coral and I talked about this, like the tie that like broke Allie's leg, right? Like this was very reminiscent of that tie where it's like, I should probably do A, but in the moment I'm going to do B, and we'll just see where it takes us. You know what I mean? So like, I'm glad that she didn't drop out, because I feel like if you're a constituent, you'd want to like, I don't want to say you'd want to see like them face like a hardship like that. But I mean, I feel like the way that she handled it with the media was great. So I mean, she's got my vote on that part. But would it have probably been in the best interest? Yes. Also, was she ever really planning to drop out? Was that all a show for like Simone and you know what I mean? Like like that's what I mean by Ty being a loose cannon for me right now because I'm like, shit, I don't know. Like what we find out later on, I'm like, I
Well, doesn't
don't.
she even say that to Sammy at some point? She's like, people don't know what to expect from me, and that scares them. Something along those lines.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was very indicative of that. That's for sure.
I agree. And I agree with everything you said. Like, she would absolutely have my vote. Standing up to an
Bullies.
attack like that, yeah. I mean, she would have already had my vote probably. I like given that she was in a race with a white dude who's clearly like cutthroat and shitty,
Mhm.
probably. But I mean, this I don't know. I hate that this came at the expense of definitely making Simone feel probably betrayed because she's I don't know that the term blindsided is super nice. I can't come up with anything else in this moment. She didn't see that coming. She feels probably just as shocked as everybody watching, maybe. I don't know. Like she's not it's not the move you do for your family, but it is the move you do if you want to be in politics and if you want to be like an actual legit person, with all the ideas that you said you were going to campaign for. And part of me, like their conversation about how well, Sammy's missing, the mom that he used to know, and the campaign has done this to you and it's done that to you. And it's like, it's kind of disingenuous for you guys to be saying, like, I can't believe it's done all of these things, or like, because, like, I'm sorry, but you'd have to be kind of stupid to think that something like this, that a job like this wouldn't take that toll on you. That's just kind of the name of that game. Like,
Oh yeah, 100%.
so I don't know. There is a part of me that's like, Ty manufactured this whole thing. She wrote the word spill and then she's using it to her advantage, which a part of me even still is like, nice, good
Yeah,
work. Like
yeah,
that's pretty smart.
strategery. I like it.
And then part of me is like, she had nothing to do with this, or she doesn't know that she had anything to do with this, and she's really just fighting for what she believes in. So
Yeah, I mean, they're like you said, they're really toeing the line with her so
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Also, is it foreshadowing that it was a pair of ghosts? I mean, I know that it's
Mhm.
Halloween, but it was a pair of ghosts
Right.
covering up that word. I was like,
Yes.
whoa,
Yes.
whoa.
I
Because
loved that too.
I thought it was just like a tarp or something like last time around, but this time I was like, two ghosts? No.
It was very good visual imagery for sure.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
She ripped away those ghosts. I was like, ah.
The ghosts of her past and such.
Oh boy. Hmm.
All right, well I'm good on Ty if you want to scoot along to Nat.
Yes. Yeah. Nah, nah, nah.
I don't I feel like this will be controversial yet brave for within our relationship, but Nat is driving me fucking crazy. I cannot stand her as an adult. In this episode
Well,
specifically, maybe that ebbs and flows as we move through, but there's something
yeah.
about the way she's using Kevin. The thermos full of gasoline, while funny, is like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, this is
It's too
insane.
much.
You are
Mhm.
going to get you and a lot of people into trouble. And this guy, he has nothing to do with this. Leave him
No.
alone. Like, so why I can get on board with Shauna having an affair with Ty, betraying her wife in a certain sense, but not Natalie, I don't know. But there's just something that I'm finding extremely irritating about this character right now.
Well, it's the abrasiveness. Like there's an assertiveness to Ty, but it's not abrasive, if that makes any sense at all.
Right? Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like I understand what you're saying. I mean, I'm still a huge, Nat fan, but I am not a fan though. Like it was fine last episode, like having the dinner with Kevin, like, okay, whatever. But like now it's like I don't well, also in this episode, sorry, I feel like I'm skipping around a bit, but also in this episode, I think it becomes a little more clear that she's not that interested in Kevin because we see the
Yeah.
relationship in the past with Travis, and we also see the flashbacks as she's looking at the autopsy photos.
Yep.
Obviously, the relationship, there was something other than a sponsory like relationship or whatever between the two of
Yes.
them. Excuse me.
I don't know that
So,
sponsors often lay in bed with each other with their shirts off.
right. So, I mean, I think that will lend like an aggravation where it comes to Kevin, where I'm like, look, if it was your best friend at one point, I mean, just like talk to him. I feel like he would probably have helped you in the capacity he could have. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't see any timeline where Kevin would be like, well, no, Nat. Like, it's so great to see you after all this time, but I don't think I'm gonna help you. Like, especially if she was like, this was my friend. Like, maybe don't even have to disclose like the love portion of it, but just be like, I feel like something's very off or wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wish she had gone to that length, actually. I thought she was going there when she was like, listen, I keep thinking about Travis. And then she pivoted to the whole sponsor thing. And I was like, why don't you just, I mean, you guys don't really owe each other anything. You haven't
right.
been in each other's lives for all of these years. Why not just say, like, we loved each other, like, or whatever it was. So,
Yeah, and I think also at this point in the season, knowing what happens like at the very end of the finale of the season,
right.
um, I have become more sus of Nat and what I know that she had been in and out of rehabs and things because that was mentioned by Ty. But like what other connections are there to like whatever is happening in present day that started in the woods? You know what I mean? So like there's so many ulterior motives and so many secrets and all of that to where it does get pretty muddy because I mean, I change my tune. I feel like on characters episode to episode, I could be absolutely in love with Nat, and then I could be like, "You're aggravating me. I don't like this."
Right.
Like
Yeah. The more that we learn
same
and
with Ty.
spend time with
Yeah,
them. Yeah, for sure.
the only consistent one is Misty, and even though she's spying and she's a poodle haired freak,
Yeah, but
I
it's so
for it.
like
She's still
I
herself.
mean, yeah, yeah. There's never, I mean, did she outright say, "Here's an owl, it's gonna spy on you"? No, but that's so in line with who Misty is. Like, I don't know. She's straight down the line, like
Yeah,
she just is who she is. Yeah. She's
yeah.
not a good person, but
No, and she
like
doesn't make any bones about that either.
exactly. Yes. I will say, like, excuse me, I am still very much enjoying 96 Natalie, though.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think her and Travis getting to know each other and the flirting and like the competition of who's gonna, I guess, kill the most animals is very cute and sweet. And their first kiss is very sweet. And then even how that, we come off of that flashback or that part of the story and to Nat thinking about more present day Travis, and then there he is on the slab with the autopsy like cuts and everything. And that is sad.
yeah.
That is sad to see like their whole relationship kind of, or like a lot of it kind of play out,
Right.
in 30 seconds or whatever. So I do feel for her in present day, but
Sure.
get a handle on it, lady.
And I'm sorry, but I have just got to know siphoning gas cannot be like. Listen, I've seen it so
Terrible
much,
stuff.
right? Like I've never actually seen somebody do it in real life. Like
I thought you were going
RIL.
to say, I've never actually done it.
No, I have it, and I've never
Yeah.
actually seen anyone do it. But when you see it so much, like in movies or television, and I'm always like, how are you just okay? Like when I did my Walking Dead rewatch, and I'm like, how are you just okay with like getting all that gasoline in your mouth? Like,
Ugh.
there's no way that that's pleasant. I don't
To
know.
me, that's more forgivable because at least they're in an apocalypse. Like,
Well, right. Like when I see it happening like this, I'm like, where's the appeal? I don't get it.
but like, there's no gum. You don't like rinse with mouthwash or nothing, or I don't know.
And I mean, good
Seems
thing she didn't
dangerous.
light up a ciggy after that because, like,
That's
her
so
whole mouth would
true.
have caught on fire.
Ugh, yes.
Oh man.
Um,
Anyway,
she did give me some. So when she's laying on the bed at the motel, just with like her fishnets on, and she's kind of like watching TV upside down, she gave me some real Laura Palmer vibes, like from Fire
mhm.
Walk with Me. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Wow. I love thinking of this right now. Like it's that I had not thought of that. So
I wish she had like an actual landline that she could, when the phone rang and she picked it up and could like use it backwards
yeah,
and,
or
or
like
upside down, I should say. Yeah,
twirl it around a little bit. And,
exactly. Yes.
oh man,
It was very Laura
there's
Palmer, though.
yes, for sure, for sure.
All right. Well, I've got just some final questions if you are good on Natalie then.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So where did they get all that bedding?
Honey, listen, I would take it a step further.
Is
Marley,
this part of the supernatural?
I mean, also Van is completely okay, but if it's been weeks, then Van would be healed. Fine. But also there's a lot of questions I have. Like, I understand that y'all got like the luggage raid, but I mean, were Uggs and Tims in that luggage? Like, y'all look very put together for some folks out of the woods. Larly, I'm assuming that is your grandmother's nightgown that you wear every night, but is that really necessary in this scenario? Like,
I
throw
mean,
on a
that's all she
t-shirt.
brought, I'm assuming.
Wow. I don't know. But yeah, where did all that come from? Did they wash it? There's so many questions here. Like, if I rolled up into a dingy cabin like this, I just don't know about
And you found
trusting
like
any of the bedding.
maggots in the canned food.
But
We definitely have to be washing the bedding. But
yeah.
some of it was like matchy. And I'm like, did they bring pillows on the trip?
I mean, I don't. It's crazy too that it's just. I
Like,
know
Jackie has like
I
a
don't
full
know.
mattress.
Yes, Jackie has a nice put together outfit. You know what I'm trying to think? I'll tell you what I'm trying to think of. Like, I'm trying to recall the last time I flew somewhere. Flew somewhere? Yeah. And where they load the luggage up. Because here's the thing, the whole back end of the plane like blew up. And I'm just like, it's very unrealistic that y'all recovered every single suitcase. Because they also got into this argument or whatever about, well, that was, yeah, I had that, but that was like in the carry-on, like in the stowaway or whatever. And I'm like,
yeah. I don't
but
know.
yeah, y'all have enough outfits to, but you know, whatever. I guess they scavenged.
This is something that I was watching too, where I was like, I need to start writing down like what they're wearing. And maybe they're cycling some of their clothing. Probably not Jackie, because she's like, oh, that's mine.
oh yeah, for
but
sure.
like, we better start seeing some repeat outfits.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't know where the TJ Bucks or where they're using the TJ Bucks out there. So,
I mean, you know, another thing that I think of often when I think about like The Walking Dead, like I hate to keep comparing these two things, but like I know the hygiene can't be that great. And I know that you
Ugh.
probably forgive it because you're all in the boat together, but I don't know if any sexy time with anybody would be at the top of my list.
I mean,
Like Nat and Travis, that's great. You're right. It was cute. It was sweet. But the whole time I was like, when's the last time either of them brushed their teeth?
oh no, they haven't. I mean, I assume that they did bring some toiletries, but how long would any of that last? You know, like there's only, and if they were smart, they would have started only, you know, using the real toothpaste like once every 2 days or something, just so they could make it last. And like, I mean, I'm more worried about when things get sexual in different parts, because like, please go to the lake first. Please go to the lake. Ple's
Let's do a
please.
little washy wash, little horse bath. That's what that's what my grandmother used
Yes,
to call it.
take a horse bath. That's fine.
But
Okay,
the fact
another
that that was
question.
common, I just want to say the fact that that was a common phrase though, like always like tripped me out with my grandmother because I would be like, okay, you're just this little sweet old Southern lady, and you're like, no need for a full shower, just a horse bath. And I'm
I
like,
know. My grandmother used to say that too. It has to be like a generational thing. Yeah.
it has to be. It's just funny to
Such
me
a
where
weird
I'm
fucking
like,
thing to say.
oh, okay, yeah.
No, I'm good. Like we're privileged enough to have the running water. I'm gonna use it.
Yeah, I think I can
So,
shower real
you know.
quick. Yeah.
Here's another question based on stuff that they may have had with them. I am starting to think, like, why did we never see them try to have a round of soccer? Do they call it a round of soccer, a match of soccer? I don't know. But like, why did we not see them doing that? Even just to like keep spirits up, or if they in the beginning thought like somebody is going to come and rescue us, we're going to make it to nationals, we got to keep practicing.
I
Like,
mean,
do they not have any soccer balls? Did the soccer balls all blow up maybe?
I was about to say maybe they didn't pack soccer balls because where they were going, they might have been supplied with them, or
Where
they've
we're
got
going, we don't need soccer
where
balls.
we're going. We don't need soccer balls. Yeah. But that's a very good point. Like, what are you doing in your downtime? Because here's the thing. Also, if I had to be Little House on the Prairie all day long, I'd be like, fuck, I'm so over this. Like, I don't want to sit out here and carve up like little wooden statues all day. Okay. Like, I am a lover of sleep. So, therefore, when my chores were done, I would be laying down somewhere. I would be horizontal and you would not be catching me doing
I
shit.
do wonder how different it would be for us though if we'd never lived with constant access to technology.
Well, there is that. Yes.
Like we might have settled into that somewhat easier.
Maybe easier. Yeah. No,
But
you're totally right. Yeah.
but still, you'd think that this soccer team would play soccer once or twice.
Or maybe they're like, that's bad luck because that's what got us in this situation. I don't know.
Well, what got them there was
superstitious?
Laura Lee calling somebody a cunt in her head. So let's not get it twisted.
I'm just stitious. I'm just a little stitious.
I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious.
I'm a little stitious. Yeah.
Okay, one other more serious question. Ben at the end of this episode is totally fucking with Misty, right? Like he is just saying that as either a kindness towards Misty or like a survival tactic for himself.
I think it's probably a bit of both because he knows
Okay,
what she's
yeah.
capable of.
Right.
But I also think that in his mind, maybe he believes that if he tries to let her down gently or like play along with her, but not, I mean, I of course it's wrong what he's doing, but I don't feel like he took it way too far because obviously we'll find out that he's not interested in, the female sex at all.
Oh, that's
But
right.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
but is there also that adult teacher kind of instinct kicking in as well where he's like, okay, well, we're stranded. These are hormonal girls, and so perhaps, just to keep the peace, I'll quote unquote let her
Right.
down easy. But I do think that there's a tinge of survival instinct in there for him because, like I said, he's aware of what she's capable of at this
Like
point.
keep your enemies closer, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say something else about Misty and Ben. It's gone. And final question, are you watching the credits or are you skipping them? Like opening
I'm
theme.
watching it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's so good.
It's so good. I love
I
the
love the
song. I love
song.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It stays in my head for days at a time.
Same. I mean, as soon
Yeah.
as it kicks in, I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
Well, those are all my
Oh,
questions.
yeah, and one thing I can't recall if we pointed this out at any point in our the We're Obsessed coverage, but Misty has on a Hive print sweater.
Oh, yes, she does.
I was like, not the OG like Bay Hive. Like, what's up, girl? No.
That's a much better, I don't know what to call it, but I was like, it's kind of giving me The Shining vibes, like
Well, it's
not
definitely the
quite,
carpet. Yeah.
but yeah.
But I was like, oh, Hive. Okay.
Mhm.
I like it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. The thing I was going to say about Ben and Misty is I guess in a way the show has set up the coincidence angle because Misty asks whether or not the person that she has feelings for feels the same way about her. And Shauna's obviously bullshitting in that moment, but it's like, oh yeah, she does. And they're like, way to go, Misty.
Yeah.
And then Ben does say that he also feels the same way for her. So that is an interesting thing that they're doing.
Mhm.
Yeah. So once again, they've set themselves up to go either way, which is great. But yeah, those are all my questions.
Same here. Yeah, Misty's shirt is the last thing that I have on my list here. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Well, we are halfway through season 1.
Woo,
So
boy.
exciting. Yes.
Oh my gosh. And yes, it is exciting. And it's also going very fast.
True. But
Ooh,
the faster we go, the faster we get to season 2 or something.
there it is. There it is. The quicker we get there, the quicker we get to the finish line. Yeah. Well, if that's all for this time, the library has my copy of The Girl in the Train window ready.
Well, then we better get to this clam bake. See ya.